Globalization is nothing but fundamentally deals with flows of people, resources, ideas, technology. So you can just go through NCRT and give these notes for you. It's nothing but flows. But what kind of flows? Even yesteryears, you can say 17th century, 18th century, or if you go to European age of discovery. You know European age of discovery? Yes or no? World history is over. You should read. Don't wait for anyone. So you see world history, there is a European age of discovery where you see lots of sailors have explored the world. Age of exploration, you can say, or age of discoveries. For example, India was discovered by whom? Why has he come to India? You know that there is a country called as India. No, he just came through. He wanted to explore the world. That exploration is nothing but I say globalization. Yes or no? So globalization was also there earlier, and even today we have globalization. There are two concepts. In fact, you can say old globalization and new globalization. Old globalization means globalization which was happened especially because of you can say advent of telegraph, steam engine, yes or no, or European age of discoveries or age of exploration, which actually made people from Portugal, Spain, yes or no, they wanted to travel back to different parts of the world and wanted to get access to resources, access to culture of different parts of the world. That has actually led to globalization, 17th and 18th century. But again, there are different ways. Second wave of globalization happened, especially after Second World War. You know, First World War and Second World War. After Second World War, there was a concept called as League of Nations. The first is we have United Nations. Similar form we have League of Nations after First World War. Second World War, you can see the establishment of United Nations, Bretton Woods system, the Bretton Woods system, right, which was dominantly controlled by whom? Again, USA is a Bretton Woods system. So this is, we can say, second wave of globalization happened after Second World War. But in between First and Second World War, I am not talking about that wave of globalization that did not happen between First and Second World War. The reason is there are lots of protectionism happening. You see, Germany went back under the rule of Hitler. Nationalism promoted. Nationalism was at its peaks during First and Second World War. So today concept I talk about that also, nationalism. Nationalism and globalization are antithetical. They don't go together. Nationalism means feeling as a nation, but globalization means feeling as a global citizen. Yes or no? Today that concept is coming, multi-citizen, or can say multi-citizenship. The concept of multi-citizenship is emerging. Many countries are promoting this multi-citizenship. India does not want to have this multi-citizenship as of today because we are not that much ready for opening up our borders in such a free manner, because still we have security challenges. If I give a passport to some American, or if I give citizenship to some American, that may be difficult for me to control this flow. Maybe America I can give because it's a friendly nation, but can I give it to some African country or some other countries which are not yet to be a war? That's a question mark. So multi-citizenship is a norm in many countries. So that's what you can say. 1970 or 1919 to 1935, 37, you see the dip of globalization. Nations have went inward. They have went for, in fact, we see the Great Depression happened in which year? 1928. That is because of nationalistic policies. Nationalistic policies. 2008 Great Depression, recession of the world, global recession. Again, the anti-globalization movements happened in 2008. The countries talking about nationalization. So you can say globalization first wave happened in 17th and 18th century, and second wave I can say after Second World War, establishment of Bretton Woods institutions, World Bank, or you can say GATT, for example. GATT came in establishment after Second World War, 1945. But that form of globalization was more of inward in nature, or more of, you can say, one directional nature. Why it is one directional? After Second World War, many countries did not get independence. India just got independence. Many African countries are yet to get independence. Many Asian countries just evolved from colonial regime. They don't have much capacities. Only help was coming from USA or Europe, or there is unidirectional flow of resources. For example, you can say official ODAs, development assistance, or you can say some of the grants, aid coming from Russia, USA, Germany to India to establishment, for the establishment of many steel companies, steel or many, not only steel but also hydroelectric power and all. There are many grants again coming to India from countries like USA, Germany and all. That was a unidirectional thing. After 1970s, China has opened up. India has opened up in 1991 LPG reforms. So many countries like Asian tigers, Malaysia, or you can say Singapore, their economies are rising, especially 1970s and 1980s. So 1990s, you can say the globalization, the present trend of globalization, the fast pace of globalization started in 1990s. And today also we can say globalization is happening, and globalization is happening at a very, very rapid scale. You can say there is a quotation, I'll just read out the quotation, you can see that very wonderfully said by one of the Indian politician, which has summarized globalization very beautifully. You know who is that politician? I'll read out that. There was an article on the internet talking about the death of Prince Diana. Prince Diana is an English princess with a Welsh title. Yes or no? Leaves a French hotel with her Egyptian companion who has supplanted a Pakistani. She is driven in a German car with a Dutch engine by a Belgian chauffeur full of Scottish whiskey. They are chased by Italian paparazzi on Japanese motorcycles into a Swiss-built tunnel and crashed. A rescue is attempted by American doctor using Brazilian medicines. And the story is now being told by you by an Indian visiting Berlin. So you can see the kind of, this is told by whom? Eshitaru, who is one of the most global thinker in the world, you can say. So that's what you can say. Even if you can compare yourself, you may be using some Chinese mobile phone, yes or no, wearing some American jeans, or maybe having some pizza, Italian pizza, yes or no, maybe having some Brazilian coffee, reading some BBC, or watching some BBC, yes or no. So that's what we are globalized. You can't debate about whether we are living in a globalized world or not. There was a debate in fact. 1970s, 1960s, there was a debate whether we are still in globalized world. 1990s also, there were thinkers who said whether we are actually living in a globalized world. The today debate is settled. We are living in a globalized world. It's a reality. Yes or no? Everyone has to accept. But whether this globalization is actually benefiting everyone, that is what you have to debate. That's what the UPSC also wants you to think. The impact of globalization on the society, on the Indian society. Yes or no? Indian society as a whole. You can answer these questions by yourself. I'll just read out some questions which I've thought through. Can you tell me the impact of globalization on marriage system in India? You know the answer. Please. Exogamy. How? Okay. Fine. So because your thought process has changed, now you are exposed to different cultures. Yes or no? Maybe the culture again is a question mark. Whether you are exposed to American culture or a hybrid culture, that's up to you. But we are exposed to some culture. Yes or no? We are exposed to some culture which generally promotes maybe extended adulthood, or maybe you can say exogamy or endogamy, whatever maybe the case. One point you can say is exogamy, intercaste marriages or interreligious marriages have become the norm nowadays. It's acceptable, at least in urban societies. Yes or no? Rural societies, there may be a different case, but urban societies, at least the educated youth, do you think it's right completely? Yes. Yes. You tell your parents that I am a BTech graduate in IIT, I am from Ahmedabad. Now I want to marry a girl from North India who is maybe the OBC community. Will your parents accept? No. How many of you want to really marry an intercaste girl or interreligious girl? You may be open to that idea in a group, but when it comes to your life, you completely say yes. Maybe some may say yes, but still you still have a dilemma. That's what impact of globalization on the culture of individuals, I can say there is hybridity again. I can definitely say, you can definitely say that you want to marry an intercaste girl, but there may be people, there are still people who say, I am globalized, but I still have my roots are strong to my identity. There's a hybrid identity coming into picture. I'm a global citizen, but I want to follow my local identity. Yes or no? That is called as hybridity. So the globalization impact on culture, if I say, taking from individual perspective or a societal perspective, I say I'm following my local identity or local culture, but I'm open to globalization. So you can definitely say generally people write westernization, all these things, but this thought you can write in your answers telling that there is a hybrid culture coming up. Even though people are opening up to different ideas, different lifestyles, but there is certain set of patterns which you still observe that people still cling down to their local identities, local religion, local culture, local festivals. Now Sankranti is coming, and I'm posted at West Godavari, Bhimavaram, Vellore. Bhimavaram, you know, is a very famous place. Obviously, if I say no, no, it is not acceptable in modern day society, what do they say? Very unrealistic kind of bureaucrat coming to West Godavari. So maybe the idea is people still accept it. There should be ways and means to control it. Now, if I outrightly say this is nothing but trash, violation of animal rights, they'll say why? Yes or no? Definitely they'll say why. That's why there is a way to tackle these things. So culture, definitely there is an impact, but what kind of impact you thinking? So impact on marriage system, exogamy, very good point. Next, very good. Divorce, why divorce?
The rate of divorces has increased.
Yeah, that's what, why?
Independent, independent, self-reliance.
Self-reliant, that means you are married, you are not independent.
Lack of adjustment way of thinking.